Morning, everybody. Welcome to the September 11th, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission. We'll call this meeting to order at 9:35 a.m. Rosalie, ready for a roll call?
Commissioner Dan Zyson,
Here.
Commissioner Finter,
Here.
Acting Chair Hernandez,
Here.
Commissioner Lawrence,
Here.
Commissioner Layton,
Here.
Vice Chair Milhaven, Commissioner Rock Wallach, Commissioner Toma,
Here.
Commissioner Whitney,
I'm here.
Chairman Lindblom. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Great. Thank you, Rosalie. All right, on to announcements. This meeting has been noticed in accordance with the Open Meeting Law, Arizona Revised Statute 38-431. Agendas are available within 24 hours of each meeting in the Maricopa County Planning and Development Office and are also available on the Planning and Development website 1 week prior to hearing at www.maricopa.gov/planning. The staff reports prepared for each agenda item shall become a part of the permanent record for each case. With respect to the hearing process, cases will be considered in the order they appear on the agenda unless otherwise agreed to by the commission. For each case, the applicant will be given a set amount of time to present. Anyone wishing to speak on a particular case shall fill out a speaker's card for in-person attendance or raise your hand within GoToWebinar. The amount of time allowed for speaking shall be at the discretion of the commission chair. Staff will provide the chairman with the names of persons who have registered and noted desire to comment, and those registered participants who have raised their hand. The chairman will call on each named participant one at a time. The chairman will conduct the hybrid in-person and virtual public hearing according to the bylaws and according to the rules established by the chairman regarding public comment. Votes will be done by roll call vote only. The chairman will verbally identify the specific members responsible for all motions and seconds. All right, staff has distributed the minutes from the July 24th and the August 7th hearing. Are there any comments from the commissioners? All right, hearing no comments, those minutes are approved. Darren, do we have any adjustments to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have item 6 on the consent agenda, Z25017, known as McHenry Buckeye Industrial Zoning, being continued to November 6th. I understand will wish to make a statement about why it's being continued. And then agenda items 7 and 8, Z25006 and SUP 250023, known as Pink Door Carefree Highway. Those items are continued to October 9th, 25, and there is no action necessary by the commission at this time.
Okay, great. Thank you, Darren. Before we move to the consent agenda, Mr. Jarvis will give you a few moments. If you'd please state your name for the record.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. The name is
I'm
Rod.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Hold on one second. Go ahead, Darren.
Sorry to interrupt. Just to make the announcement that Commissioner Rock Wallach has joined us.
Okay, great. Thank you, Darren.
For the record, the name is Rod Jarvis with Gallagher and Kennedy, 2575 East Camelback Road. It's fairly unusual to continue a consent agenda item, and I felt a little explanation was important. I have been reaching out to members of the Planning Commission leading up to this hearing and explaining to all of them that we had the full support of the city of Buckeye. So far as I know, that is still the case. However, quite honestly, a bit bafflingly, after working this for about a year, City of Buckeye has chosen at the last minute to ask us to continue so we can meet. We are accommodating that, but I didn't want the planning commissioners to think that I had been giving them false information up until this point. Also, given that we are accommodating the City of Buckeye at their last minute request, I would request that any continuance fee be waived as for my client. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you for the explanation, Mr. Jarvis. All right, Darren, let's move on to the consent agenda, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. The remaining 5 consent items are MCP 2024-001, known as Dami Group LLC in District 5. This is a military compatibility permit with a plan of development for a truck parking and storage yard in industrial 2 MAAMF zoning on 2.8 acres south and east of the southeast corner of McDowell, Perryville in the Goodyear area. There's no known opposition. In paragraph 18, the recommendation is approval subject to conditions A through G. MCP 240005, known as Fleetwood Storage in District 4. This is a military compatibility permit with a plan of development for a storage yard in the rural 43 MAAMF zoning district on 2-acre site west of the northwest corner of Alsop and Fleetwood in the West Glendale area. There's no known opposition. The recommendation of paragraph 17 is for approval subject to conditions A through J. Next items are CPA 240008 and Z240026, known as Pinion Solar Project District 5. This is a comp plan amendment to utilities with a companion zone change to industrial 2 IUPD for 241 acres west of the southwest corner of 91st Avenue and Schumacher in the Goodyear Mobile area. There's no known opposition. The recommendations in paragraph 19 are for approval of the CPA, and in paragraph 20 for approval of the zoning case subject to conditions A through K. And the final item is Z250010, known as Delgado Whitman Commercial Zoning in District 4. It's a zone change to C2 CUPD for a half-acre west of the southwest corner of Grand Avenue and Poplar Street in the Whitman area. There's no known opposition or recommendation is for approval, subject to conditions A through I in paragraph 13. Happy to answer any questions you may have on the consent items.
Great, thank you, Darren. Is there any questions of the staff from the commission? All right, is there anyone from the public interested in speaking regarding the consent agenda? I do have a Stephen Anderson who would like to speak about case 3 and 4, if that's still necessary or no? Yes, sir. Okay, great, thank you. David, is there anybody online that has their hand raised or wishes to speak regarding the consent agenda?
We're not
All right.
aware of anyone.
All right, great, thank you, David. All right, so being that there's no public interest, we will close the public forum. Is there any discussion regarding the consent agenda by the commission? All right, hearing none, we will entertain a motion. Please, whoever is, if you're online, please just state your name before you make a motion so I know.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner Whitney.
it's Warren Whitney. I would move approval of the consent agenda as presented by staff.
All right, we have a motion to recommend approval of the consent agenda by Commissioner Whitney. Do we have a second?
This is Commissioner Dan Buzz, I'll second that.
I'm sorry, who is this?
Dan Zeisen.
Oh, Commissioner Dan Zeisen seconds the motion. Are there any comments regarding the motion? All right, hearing none. Rosalie, go for a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Dan Zeisen,
Yes.
Commissioner Finter,
Yes.
Acting Chair Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lawrence,
Yes.
Commissioner Layton,
Yes.
Commissioner Toma,
Yes.
Commissioner Whitney,
Yes.
Commissioner Rock-Wallach,
Yes.
Chairman, we have a motion recommending approval of the consent agenda by a vote of 8-0.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rosalie. All right, Darren, moving on to the regular agenda. It's case number Z250009.
That is correct, Chairman Hernandez. Right now, good morning, members of the commission. This is case Z25009, Carefree Commercial. The applicant is requesting a zone change with overlay from rural 43 to C2 CUPD to accommodate future commercial development. The site is on a 10-acre parcel located at the southeast corner of Carefree Highway and Central Avenue in the Desert Hills area. The applicant anticipates future offices, service indoor storage, and neighborhood-focused convenience retail for the site. According to the applicant, the proposed rezoning request supports the commercial node land use designation that is outlined in the current Daisy Mountain New River Area Plan, which recognizes the Carefree Highway as a strategic commercial corridor that complements the rural character of the area. The CUPD request will limit the uses on the site to uses that focus on the needs of the local area and prohibit certain uses that are not compatible to a primarily rural residential area. Additionally, this CUPD request will reduce the C2 maximum height to 30 feet and abide by the rest of the C2 development standards. The site is within the Carefree Highway Scenic Corridor, and this CUPD will have requests to vary two of the design guidelines that deal with landscape buffers and structure height. To compensate these varied standards, a developer will add additional landscape buffers along public streets, and adjacent residents with a 10-foot wide multi-use trail will also be included along the highway. During the public participation process, staff received 13 opposition letters and an opposition petition with 70 signatures. The letters mention concern about commercial development on this site and how the request is not compatible with the area's rural character, most preferring this site to be reserved for rural residences. Additionally, the letters had concerns on what type of commercial development will occur after the zone change and how this will affect the area's traffic patterns. Staff supports this rezone of the site to C2 CUPD, although this zone change request does not have a precise land uses in mind. The applicant has demonstrated a willingness to restrict uses, prohibit certain uses, and tailor future uses to conform to the Carefree Highway Scenic Corridor. The proposed development and design standards are reasonable given a willingness to abide by the majority of the CHC design guidelines. This site is in a suitable location for the commercial uses being proposed in the site, since it is on the corner of Central Avenue and Carefree Highway, which is designed to handle traffic from any commercial use on this parcel. And in addition, any traffic will be concerns will actually be addressed in the plan of development stage. So that will be in place, and improvements and dedications will be necessary if needed on that. So this is also an area that has seen several commercial developments along this highway in the recent past that are orientated to the needs of the local community. Therefore, staff are recommending approval of this request subject to conditions listed in the staff report. And this concludes staff's presentation. And thank you, members of the commission.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Martell.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions from the commission for the staff? All right. Is the applicant here today? Yeah, whichever one of you guys wants to come up and speak would be great. Good morning. Thank you for coming down. Would you please state your name for the record? And I'll give you a couple minutes to make a presentation.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Again, thank you for hearing this case this morning. As staff has presented, this is a rezone case for future commercial use along the Carefree Highway.
Can you state your name for the
I'm
record?
sorry, Brad Garcia with Century Builders, representing the applicant. And I actually don't have any further information unless there's questions directly from the commission. The staff pretty much covered a lot of the details already.
Okay, great. We do have several people from the public that are interested in speaking. So after everyone is done, I'll give you a few minutes to answer some of their questions.
Of course.
Thank you. All right, we will proceed with in-person speakers, then allow those registered online to speak. After public comment, we'll allow time for rebuttal by the applicant. So there's a lot of people here today, and I'm very happy to see that you guys take time out of your days to participate in this public process. So with that in mind, and having respect of everybody's time, will you please keep your comments to 2 minutes or less? And each speaker, I would just ask that you don't regurgitate what a previous speaker said. Please come up with something different. Let's get started here. Faye Oakley. Good morning. Thank you for coming down. If you please just state your name for the record, and you have 2 minutes.
Good morning. Yes, my name is Faye Oakley, Oakley. I'm definitely going to come out as opposed to this for several reasons. Already, there is very limited development, commercial development between 7th Avenue. There's a Carefree The Desert View Bible Church is immediately west of this parcel. And they hire Maricopa County sheriffs to direct traffic and control traffic on that corner right there where this building is proposed when they have a lot of events at that church. So there's already a traffic issue there, a safety issue, because it's between traffic signals unless there was a traffic signal plan for Carefree or for Central and Carefree. The end use is not sufficiently articulated, so we don't know what, if we change the zoning at this point, what we're going to end up with. And then my particular area of interest is flood control mitigation, and Carefree Highway. That whole section of Carefree Highway is problematic for flood control and drainage issues. And I didn't have a chance, unfortunately, to review this because I wasn't expecting to speak to this issue today. But all of the properties along Carefree Highway will have to do some kind of flood control mitigation and retention basins to control the flooding along Carefree Highway. And I think we need to look at New Mexico and Texas catastrophic floods this year to really err on the side of extreme caution in building over desert in flood prone areas.
Great.
And that's my bit today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Oakley. All right, next we have Georgia, I can't read the last name, Emin? I'm sorry. Good morning. Thank you for coming down. If you could
Good
just state
morning.
your.
My name is Georgia Eman, and I'm against any more commercial building along the Carefree Highway. It's a beautiful area. It's a scenic route. It is a highway. It is not a commercial corridor, and it should never be. It doesn't make any sense. We've lived there for 20 years. We've helped businesses in the area. It's taking something that's potentially very beautiful and making it into something that nobody wants. Nobody wants stoplights every quarter of a mile like along Bell Road. Nobody needs that. We have all the things that we need. Within 4 miles of us, there's 2 big shopping centers, one to the east and one to the west. All you have to do is get in the car and drive 4 miles. It's not that hard. There's hospitals going up. There's a huge hospital, the new Honor Health one on the I-17 in the Carefree Highway. All of these things are happening. And what Faye is saying about the flooding, there's a tremendous wash. And they're talking about putting in all of these buildings with entrances on 10th Street and 12th Street and 14th Street and Central Avenue and all of these entrances and exits that can't exit an entrance from the Carefree Highway because of the washes. So just be really careful, guys. This is a lot of people's lives that you're talking about, and nobody needs more RV parking. Nobody needs more of any of this. You want to build houses on an acre? Beautiful. That's what the property's there for. You want to raise chickens? Beautiful. You want to sell plants? Wonderful. That's what RU43 zoning is all about. Don't change it. Do not change it into something ugly, please. Thank you.
Great, thank you for coming down. All right, next up, Bill Maher. And after that, we'll have Jim Davey following Bill. Good morning. Thank you for coming down. If you please state your name for the record.
Good morning. My name is Bill Maher. I live on 12th Street in that particular area. I've in my mind, I got to think a couple of minutes so as not to duplicate my predecessors. But to say something additional, I agree with everything that has been said to this point. I like our neighborhood. Maybe I'll voice it this way. You know, there are a couple times in your life where you're finding a place to live and you buy a house. You're looking for different things. Many of them are common, but two of them are very specific. One is if you have children, you're looking for good schools. The second one is if you're nearing retirement or retired, you're looking for a quiet neighborhood with an end to the hustle bustle, maybe to relax some after working for a career for 40 or 50 years. This is the type of neighborhood that we live in there. It is not set up properly for commercial enterprises because of lack of water. It is not set up for commercial enterprises geography-wise because of the flood problem that could be exasperated by channeling water differently there. And it is not set up with public sewer. So it makes things difficult when you're going into commercial operations. Again, the light pollution, the traffic, the concern about traffic, the concern about changing the whole feel of that area. I think with continuation of the process of changing the zoning to allow things that do not fit properly in that area are the wrong thing to do. I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, sir. Jim Davy? Good morning. Thank you for coming down. If you please state your name for the record.
My name is Jim Davy, and I'd just like to agree with what has been said already. This is a rural area, and I would ask a question that have any of the Planning Commission been to our area? Have they driven down Carefree Highway? Have they seen what's there? And have they seen how beautiful it looks right now? We don't have a lot of traffic lights. We don't have a lot of commercial development, and that's for a reason. And these commercial developments that are proposed, they do not serve our immediate community. We don't need them. As the one speaker says, we have shopping centers both to the east and to the west. We don't need them there. And with Carefree Highway being a scenic route too, let's keep it that way. We don't need this. We don't need it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, next we have Lindsay Toussaint. I'm sorry if I'm butchering anybody's names. Thank you for coming down. If you please state your name for the record.
My name is Lindsay Toussaint. You're going to have to forgive me. I just got off at 12 at John C. Lincoln to be here. Changing this to a commercial from what it already is, I can attest my well is dried up. I pay for now hauled water via semi-truck. I just lost $150,000 on my house. I'm a single mom with an autistic disabled son. So I'm kind of wondering, are we going to be providing water? Are we going to be doing all of these things for the residents? If we're not doing those things and we're not planning accordingly, why are we here? It's not fair. I cannot afford to continue losing money on my house. Guy next door is building 4 houses on 5 acres. I thought about maybe drilling my well a little bit deeper. My next door neighbor has one and he just dug his an extra 1,000 feet. Guess what he got? Nothing. Now he's getting hauled in water. We have big tanks next to our house, ugly big tanks. I have a semi that comes down my road, upsets the rest of my neighbors because it tears up the road. I don't have a choice. What are we doing? And why are we doing it? Without bringing the resources here. Bring them here and then we can talk. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down. Next up, we have Jay Bieber. Good morning. Thank you for coming down. If you please state your name for the record.
Yes. My name is Jay Bieber. Thank you very much for the opportunity to address the commission. The reason that we are very concerned about all of these types of developments, and this one in particular, is that the community spent decades working with planning department, working with the county to put together a scenic corridor plan and some other plans. And it seems like, for whatever reason, the recommendations are always, well, we're just not going to follow the plans. We're going to go outside the plan. In this particular case, they're asking for a C2. The plan says very specifically neighborhood uses, CS, C0. That's what whatever somebody feels about whether it should be, rural because they, community houses because that's what they bought the land or whatever, and they understood that going in. If there was going to be any development there, you need to follow the plans. Why did we put in place the plans if you're not going to follow them? If you're going to basically say, well, they don't matter at this point. And with regards to the specifics of this property, they said maybe there's going to be this, maybe there's going to be that. And we don't know what the future is going to bring. But once you rezone it to C2, the next applicant is going to say, well, you rezone that to C2. Why can't all of it be C2? And this is the problem. This is why the plan is in place. This is why all of this was done in the future. And it seems like you're just simply not following the plans. And so the county and the commission faces a decision. Are you going to uphold the community plans and deny these zoning requests? Or are you going to set a precedent for permanent regional commercialization of the Carefree Highway Corridor and turn it into another Bell Road, which is exactly what these plans were designed to prevent? And so we appreciate the commission members considering the community and the plans that were put in place in the past and follow those plans. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, next up is Heather Hudson. Good morning. Thank you for coming down. If you
Good
please state your
morning.
name for the record.
My name is Heather Hudson. Thank you so much for taking the time and letting us speak here today. A lot of what Jay said and Lindsay and everybody else is something I absolutely agree on. Plans were made. We need to follow them. We all purchased RU43 knowing what those guidelines are. We have to follow it, and so should they. A couple things that I want to make sure that you guys are aware of is that our community was already burned once on this. The property with the pot shop, which I have nothing against, but it hurts neighbors nearby, was designed into a commercial use with not knowing what it was going to be. And then one day it was. They had no ability to speak, share concerns or mitigations. And now today they're still suffering from those consequences from that zone change. And I really don't like that this zone change says, basically anything can go, right? Anything can go. We don't know what it's going to be for. We know exactly what that means. We're going to get screwed again. And you guys need to follow the plan. There's a reason why it was there was to protect us. We all bought into this for a reason and for a quality of life that we want. And I'll also let you know in regards to the usage or what's needed, the storage around there is not full. We've called every single one of them. They're not full. Our community members have acre properties plus with huge garages, huge RV garages. I got one that's right next to me. Trust me, I see it. And the shopping centers to the east, the west, and on 7th Street have a lot of empty spaces. They do not fill up. In fact, we had a drive-through at the gas station that was open for a year and a half, 2 years before it filled. So we've got a lot of empty spaces in the units that we have in the designed areas for commercial use. It needs to stay there. The rest of it should follow the plan, please, because we don't need it. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you very much. All right. Kim Chank.
Thank you. Yes, I'm Kim Chank, and I live right behind this property. I'm outside the 300 feet that we were supposed to be noticed. So that is a big concern to begin with. The noticing only went out to like the street immediately behind, and we heard through word of mouth. My other big concern is that you have 70 people, 70 who have signed this petition. And I'm sure there's people here I never met that did not sign this that are here today. 70 people. You also have 13 people who have formally opposed. You also have people here today in person and online, but you're taking one applicant, one, into consideration. One compared to 70 plus. That says something huge to me about where this county stands about the local community and how we feel. I reiterate everything they've said because it's outlined in the petition. They've also incorporated other things that we did not cover, like the flooding. Commercial wanted or not needed, the 4 miles. Water concerns, the wells. If this does move forward, and that's a big if because I'm very angry and so are others and are considering law movement here with lawsuits, the water concern would be, it would have to be on the city. The city needs to supply their water. We're not going to supply their water. It's already a concern. Traffic is of great concern. It is not set up on Central already to handle traffic. There's sheriffs there every weekend for the church. Lighting and increased noise. We're in a dark corridor. Scenic. There's a song written about Carefree Highway. Right, let's all sing it, people. That's going to go away with what you're doing. This is historic. There's crime and transients that come. I used to do commercial property real estate. I know the minute you have dumpster enclosures, you have those things. Smells, view impeded, that we all bought into the rural area. Again, I reiterate, 70+ people are opposing this, and you are considering one applicant who, shame on them for thinking they could push this through. They should have bought residential and built residential as a developer, not commercial.
Great, thank you. Is there anybody else here who would like to speak that did not fill out a card? All right, if you could please go up to the podium and fill out a card, and then we can get you into the official record. In the meantime, David, is there anybody online who has their hand raised or registered to speak? Nope, we don't have anybody online. Okay, wonderful. All right, sir. Thank you for coming down. If you could please state your name for the record.
My name is Matt Tarver. I'm a resident of this area. I just wanted to indicate that R43 means that everyone out there lives on at least an acre. Storage is not a problem, and if I understand the regulations correctly, the developments have to be augmenting the local economy and community. We have several storage container facilities on Carefree already, and they already are creating quite the interesting traffic jams with people pulling giant RVs out onto a 55-mile-an-hour road, attempting to do U-turns through medians that are blocking these accesses. So I don't think this is a facility that benefits our area. It's quite the opposite. And that's basically all I have to say, except for that I am in agreement with everyone who has spoken before me.
Great. Thank you very much, sir, for coming down. Okay, so we don't have anybody. Yep.
I did fill out a card, but I would like to add something.
Okay, please come up and state your name for the record.
Gary Johnson.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I would just like to add that in addition to the 70 signatures on my neighbor's petition, everyone that's here, we have 250 community members in addition to the 70 that are opposed to all of these developments. Everyone here filled out a card in opposition. Not everyone is going to speak, and there are plenty more where that came from. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner.
Yep.
So I had a Martha Reichenberg that had her hand raised and it's no longer raised, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I've sent her a message, but haven't received a response yet. So
Okay.
just to let you know that we have acknowledged her online.
Great. Thank you very much. Would you like to speak, sir? Can you please fill out a speaker's card?
But it was for 8 and 9, but it's a lot to do with this case as well.
What was your name, sir?
Mahoney, Pat Mahoney.
All right. Go ahead. You get 2 minutes.
All right. I'm Pat Mahoney, and my partner is Martin Lochier. We I'm taking a great risk because I agree with the people that have talked, but I'm coming from a different perspective. I am one of the self-storage owners that's on the northeast corner of 7th Street and Carefree Highway. And what we've seen is that there's a lack of infrastructure in this area, and there's too many different municipalities and bureaucracies that run. You got Cave Creek Water handles the water. You got County Flood that handles the flood. You got a private fire company. And what they're doing here, when I bought this land 20 plus years ago, we went to the neighbors and we had a lot of meetings. We went to the town of Cave Creek. We actually got the whole from about 44th Street to 7th Avenue. And we formed a utility district to extend the sewer, to get zoned, to have it for commercial use. And there was something called the Great Recession about 2010 that killed that whole deal. But we continued to do what we thought was the best interest of the community. We had to address our flooding issues. We spent $1 million on building a flood channel that goes around our property. And it empties right where this pink door one is. It's not this one, but there is the 35-gallon limit that they're doing for this. That's a residential thing that they're trying to circumvent the system by applying it to a commercial and putting in a storage tanks. It's not made for commercial development. So you've got no infrastructure out there to handle any kind of commercial use. And so I don't know how. I think I would like to implore that all the different county and city agencies come together and come up with a cumulative plan on how to address how you're going to do this. When I leave, I might get torn feathered, but I got to tell you, Carefree Highway is a state highway, and anything along the corridor, there are scenic corridor setbacks, and everyone's got to live by them. But I'm not sure that R43, don't hit me, but is going to work that has Carefree Highway frontage. But you need to, everyone's got to come together to have the infrastructure to allow these kind of developments to take place without these one-off deals and having to circumvent everything. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Anybody else? All right. And we still have nobody online?
Yep, no, she is ready to go. Martha is ready to speak. So, David, can you unmute her, please?
Hello, can
Yeah,
you hear me?
Martha. Yep, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Martha Reichenberg. I live just south of Carefree Highway on 12th Street. I am directly affected by the marijuana factory that's there. I smell the smell in my children's bedrooms. The changes to the floodway that happened around the storage facility that's on the northeast corner of 7th and Carefree Highway, since that went in, the flow has become much more aggressive through the wash that goes right at the driveway of my property. It floods my neighbor's properties. I had to go rescue horses for her a few years back when we had a flood because they were up to their chests in water where it had never flooded before. That wash is very dangerous, and I feel like with the changes that are being made, it's not, the people that are downstream literally from this wash are not being taken into consideration. These storage facilities, I don't want to repeat anyone's points, but these storage facilities have tons of people that don't even live in our state filling them up. A lot of the license plates are not Arizona license plates. They're people that keep their playthings here for the summertime while they go to their mansions in better climates for the summer, and then they come down here and play in our home, and then we have to look at their RVs instead of our beautiful views. I've lived here my entire life. My grandma bought this property when I was a baby, and I have now bought it from my dad. This is the place where I wanted to raise my children, and this is changing very rapidly into somewhere I don't even want to be anymore. Thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you very much. Do we have anybody else online?
Nobody else online indicating they'd like to speak. Oh, is there one more? Oh, yes. I have a Kenneth Averbuck. David, can you unmute him?
Yeah, Kenneth is unmuted. If others want to speak, they need to raise their hand before, so we can coordinate. But Kenneth, you should be able to unmute on your side.
Howdy, can you hear me?
Yes, good morning. Please state your full name for the record, and you have 2 minutes, please.
Yeah, Kenneth Scott Averbuck, good morning. So I have the pleasure of being at 211-24-139B, which actually adjoins the property that was already rezoned to C2. And I believe that was 137A, we're talking about 137B. So in my case, I was the first person on Santa Cruz to buy property and also the first to live here. And I've got 3 kids, and we were planning on staying here for quite a while. And now it looks like that may change if this moves through, because we've got a storage unit going in right in front of us on the right. And now we got 10 acres of who knows what going in on the left. And I'm assuming it's going to be a combination of retail, restaurant, storage, possibly a dispensary, which I would be totally against. As I concur with everybody who spoke before me, just even driving down Carefree, I turn off my my AC because I don't want to smell it when I drive by that hideous place. You know, one of the big things for me, not only is I don't want to look at the back of a 30-foot wall from my house that I've spent a ton of money on, but we've got a water concern that affects everybody on the street because there's no utilities. So we're on a well, we're on septic, we're on propane. I got solar. I mean, we're almost 100% off the grid. And the cost to bring city connection in from Central, which I'm not even sure if that's possible, would be astronomical, especially after all the money. I think I spent $90,000 on my site prep, and that was partly for the well that we share. And I think somebody spoke earlier, there's a well off of Fifth Avenue just west of the church, and they ran out of water and had to go down, and now they're doing hauled water. And we're talking about going into, you know, at the rate that we use water, thousands of dollars a month potentially between the 5 homes that I share with, just to be there. And you know, having 3 kids and having a 9 to 5, which is why I'm not sitting there right now, that would be a deal breaker. And it's you know, we bought with the intention of staying in an RU43 area. Obviously, you know, being the first ones in, it was hard to see what it was going to look like, but we're pretty happy with the neighborhood that we have, and we like to keep it that way. The traffic is another concern. I concur with everybody that spoke before me, but when the church has functions and we have Maricopa County Sheriff there doing traffic control, it makes it a little bit difficult. But you know, I'd much rather have a large church there than another retail development. We can drive. I mean, we already live in the middle of nowhere, and that's not an accident. We live out here because we don't mind driving, and if I have to go west a couple miles or east a few miles to get to a restaurant or to retail, that's why we bought there. And we like the dark scenic nights, and it's a scenic, you know, I think somebody mentioned there was a plan a long time ago. I'd like to stick with that plan.
Great, thank you,
so
sir. Your 2 minutes
thank you
is
very
up.
much.
Thank you for your time.
Yep.
We have other people with their hands raised.
Not that I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, there are no
Nobody
others,
else?
Jim.
No.
Okay, great. Thank you, David. All right, Mr. Garcia, would you like to take a few moments to address some of the concerns from the public? I think some of the things that would be beneficial to hear from is what is being proposed on this site, flood control and drainage issues, and what your plan is for water and sewer.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I'd be happy to talk more about the rezoning case presented today. We have been open with the community and hosted an open forum to hear a lot of the concerns from the surrounding neighborhood. And we have reviewed the master plans that have been adopted by the county, specifically the Daisy Mountain New River Plan, adopted in 2019, also the Carefree Scenic Highway, adopted in 2020. And we had tailored some of the conditions and the requirements with the CUPD, the overlay on the development, to incorporate a lot of these guidelines and planning goals. Specifically, the Carefree corridor is outlined on the screen here, is identified as a key strategic commercial corridor. It's an arterial road that can accommodate higher traffic flows than any road within the vicinity of this area. So again, part of the PUD or the PUD plan of development is the next phase in the process of proposing a development. So rezoning isn't going to specify what the specific use is. It's not going to specify what the design of the building is or what it's going to look like. But that process is conducted through the plan of development. So again, for this phase of the process, we're just strategically looking to change the RU43 zoning to be more in line with the adopted plans of the county. And I can talk to some of the other comments that had been brought up. The rural character, trying to maintain the scenic corridor and the rural character of the community. Again, these are addressed in our narrative and how we've been trying to incorporate this by adopting some of the guidelines that are included with the scenic corridor. Currently, majority of the lots or properties along this corridor do not have a trail. And that is something that we're proposing to include in our development in the future. So there's a 10-foot wide natural trail that would connect to the natural environments that are along the corridor in a safe manner. Right now, if someone wants to walk along the corridor, they're walking in a ditch or on the pavement itself. As far as light pollution, again, we totally understand the desire to have the night sky and to not impede with that. There are technologies with lighting that can accommodate that with shields that direct the light inward and down into the property. Again, those are some of the design features that would be assessed and during the plan of development and verify that those meet the county requirements. Compatibility, the rezone for for C2 is to allow the option of self-storage use, and everything else has, like dispensaries, adult entertainment, have been specifically excluded in the conditional overlay, so that these things are known up front that they're not allowed in this area. So, and the uses that are specified are self-storage, neighborhood commercial, and small offices. Again, these are businesses or uses that would require the least amount of water than what is currently zoned, which is RU43, which is a household. Again, a self-storage business or a small commercial office is going to use less water than someone that's living in a home most of the day. As far as heights and blocking views, RU43 zoning allows 30 feet maximum height for a structure. We have limited to this conditional overlay to meet that 30 feet maximum height. And as far as flooding, in the end, the flooding impact would actually be improved. Off-site flows are accommodated per county standards, per the engineering standards, so that any off-site flows that are coming onto the property exit the property in the same fashion and not causing additional stress on the infrastructure. Any on-site stormwater has to be captured and retained on-site and discharged according to the engineering standards. So actually we're keeping some of the stormwater on-site and helping to maintain the flow of off-site flows. Again, I understand that this is a change to the community. Again, the adopted plans, planners, landowners, and developers refer to these adopted plans to make sure that what is the plan, what's the future goal for the community as a whole? Not just what are the adjacent properties, what are their goals, but the community as a whole. Again, that's a public process that everyone in the community, not just within 300 feet, but from the entire community, allowed to have input into that process. Those plans were adopted, and we feel that the requirements in those plans and the suggestions are upheld with our conditional use overlay. Pending any questions, that's all I have.
Is there any questions for the applicant from the commission?
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Rock Wallach representing District 3. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. I've got a question for the applicant. I might have missed it, but if you wouldn't mind, your application lists your water as private water service. Is that intended to be well water, or will you be connecting to EPCOR or trucking EPCOR water in? What is your water source?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. There is water just probably about 300 feet to the east of this property, but there has been a hold on any future expansion from Cave Creek in their water supply. So any proposed development, as given guidance from the engineering department, would be that this would be a well system that would have to support the businesses. As such, apartments, which are not even allowed in commercial use zoning anyways, but any high intensity business or commercial uses would not be supported by the well system itself. Again, that's where we're taking into account the limited uses that are going to be very light commercial uses that would be appropriate for this space. Again, along a main arterial corridor.
Does that
Thank
answer your
you.
question, Commissioner Rockwallick?
It does. I have one more question, and either for the applicant or for staff. In reading through and just for the people in the room and the people on the phone or online, I did grow up in this area. I went to high school in Cactus Shadows, so I'm very familiar with the Carefree Highway stretch from the I-17 all the way to Scottsdale Road. In fact, I worked at that Walgreens at Scottsdale Road and Carefree Highway, but that was my first job. But so that being said, I'm very familiar with the traffic patterns related to this church on Central. So a question for either staff or for the applicant, is there intending to be a light installed with this development at Central and Carefree Highway? Is that a requirement for this development?
Commissioner, that would actually depend on any traffic impact statements for when they get to the plan and development stage. Right now, currently, it's just in the zoning entitlement stage. Once they do get that, every plan of development that's submitted, if it's broken up into many parts or it's just one single plan of development, must have a traffic impact statement on that to ensure that if it does warrant a traffic light, then that would be the expense of the property owner or applicant.
Correct. So a traffic impact analysis has not been performed.
It has not.
Partly because I assume there hasn't been a defined use for it yet, but there hasn't been an estimated TIA request based on highest use of this zoning request. There's been no TIA that comes later in the process.
Well, what the comments that we received from McDOT was the Department of Transportation was that they are not at this time, they're approving it because there is no traffic impact statement or analysis required since there's no end use on the site. So their comments were that based on whatever future development, must have a plan of development, and at that point must have a traffic impact statement or analysis, whatever's warranted on that.
Okay. That does give me a little heartburn that we are being asked to rezone a parcel now granted, I am well aware that self-storage is the lowest impact use of traffic. You can average a high of 6 cars a day most days, but it does give me concern that a traffic impact analysis has not been performed yet to determine whether or not a light would be warranted, and asking us to rezone at this time, that does give me a little heartburn. But I will reserve my comments for anybody else who may have questions on the commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rockwallick. Is there any other questions for the applicant from the commission?
Yes, this is Commissioner Toma, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner Toma, go ahead.
I have a question. Why are you guys not coming in with a specific use? I mean, you can develop a plan now, and you could even advertise the site, if as a retail spot or storage or whatever. Why come in without a specific use? Typically, we see specific uses.
Well, we don't have a specific use identified yet. A lot of it depends on the market, and also there's the zoning, the entitlement process does take a long time. And this is the first step in that long process, knowing that the PO plan of development is the final or the next phase, that we can start the process earlier on, making sure that there's alignment with the count of the commission's plans and the adopted plans before additional effort is put into, okay, well, what are we going to do here now and what's next, and start developing plans and putting costs on the table. So I mean, the uses identified are ones that are under consideration for the ownership. Self-storage was the one that was included in part of this conditional use. So that is definitely one that is identified, and as you mentioned, Commissioner, is the lowest use and probably would be the best use for commercial in this corridor.
Commissioner Toma, do you have any other questions?
Not for the applicant.
All right. Is there any other commissioners who have questions for the applicant? All right, great. Thank you, Mr. Garcia. That'll be it for now. So with that, we will close the public forum.
We have questions.
Everybody had their chance to speak. So that's okay. Please. We gave everybody ample amount of time to speak. We will have this in, we have closed the public forum and now we're discussing among the commissioners.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Commissioner Whitney.
So Warren Whitney, I am the other representative from District 3. While I didn't grow up there as my colleague, Commissioner Rock Wallach, I have been there many, many, many times over the years, and I'm very familiar with the community. I share the concerns that were expressed by the questions presented from my colleagues. I believe in order to give proper consideration, the community needs to understand what the plan for development is, and I don't think the applicant has presented that. And so if you're ready for a motion, I am prepared to move that we deny the application.
Commissioner Rock Wallach, second.
I couldn't hear what you finished there with Commissioner Whitney. Can you please just repeat the end there?
I said, if you're prepared to take a motion, I would move that we deny the application.
And Commissioner Rock Wallach, second.
Guys, I can't hear when you guys are clapping. Can you please just keep it down for a moment? Okay, so we have a recommendation by Commissioner Whitney for denial of this case.
And then before we vote, I would like to explain my motion and my vote.
Is there a second?
And there's a second from Commissioner Rock Wallach.
All right, we have a second from Commissioner Rock Wallach. Are there any comments regarding the motion?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Toma. I don't live in the area. I am a developer, and I drive obviously to the little Cave Creek all the time, and I think we owe it to the neighborhood. You know, one of our jobs is to protect their property values, and I don't see how we can do that without knowing what the specific use is. But I would like to state for the record that I do think commercial will end up being there at some point, and there are commercial uses that will not negatively impact the property value. But just a blanket approval, I don't think is responsible for us to vote yes on. So I'm gonna vote no.
All right, so we have no other comments regarding the motion. Rosalie, we're ready for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Dan Zyson?
Yes.
Commissioner Finter?
No.
Acting Chair Hernandez?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawrence?
Yes.
Commissioner Layton?
No, and I agree with what Commissioner Thomas stated, and I'm also very concerned about utilities.
I think we need to clarify that a yes vote is you are recommending denial of the case, and a no vote would be you are against that.
My mistake.
Yes, I'm confused.
So if you're voting yes, you're voting that you are siding with the motion for denial. We made a motion to recommend denial. So yes would be you are agreeing with that.
Mr. Chairman, could we restart the roll call?
Yes, let's start over, Rosalie. With is everybody on the same page now?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
Good
let's
comment.
start over. Let's start over, Rosalie.
Commissioner Dan Zyson,
Yes.
Commissioner Finter,
Yes.
Acting Chair Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lawrence,
Yes.
Commissioner Layton,
Yes.
Commissioner Toma,
Yes.
Commissioner Whitney.
I'd like to explain my vote. I'll be voting yes on the motion. And I agree with my colleague that talked about the future development there. And I think it was Mr. Mahoney, one of our speakers. I'm not at all certain that this will always be residential property. There may very well be commercial development as the area continues to grow and the needs of the community change. But for this today, I'm voting yes.
Commissioner Rockwallick,
Mr. Chair, may I explain my vote?
I'm sorry, what was that, Commissioner Rockwallick?
May I explain my vote?
Sure.
The Daisy Mountain and the New River area plan that overlays this area allows for a commercial node, and that commercial node is defined by the county as 7th Avenue to 16th Street on Carefree Highway. So I echo the sentiments of my fellow commissioners that this area one day will be commercial. The neighboring land to the east is C2, catty corner to north on the northeast side of 3rd Street and Carefree Highway is C2. The county is growing, and this is what growth looks like, but we need to ensure that proper growth happens. And this does not sound like proper growth. The applicant said, and I quote, "Rezoning doesn't specify use or design, except in other jurisdictions, and the item before this applicant, which was continued, provided just that. It provided elevation, design aspects, it provided a layout and a site plan, all of which this proposal does not. And so I can't support a blanket, spec rezoning of this area without a traffic impact analysis to understand how it's going to impact Central Avenue and the traffic circulations as a result of that church and this future development, and without understanding where the water is coming from. And so for that, I vote yes on this motion.
Thank you. Chairman, we have a motion recommending denial by a vote of 8-0.
Great. Thank you, Rosalie. Darren, do we have any other matters?
No, Mr. Chairman.
All right. With that, we will adjourn today's meeting at 10:38 a.m.
Thank you.